The Nowhere Patrol, written and created by Mike L. Manders, aka Geekanomicon. Issue number 1, Peppermint Lullaby. At the base of a large boulder rested the reins of Peppermint, a local shepherd that took care of a flock of golden sheep. The sheep had wool used in blankets for local hospitals. It was hard work keeping an eye on the animals, as he tended to wander all over the wild terrain outside of the city of Atlas Central. Peppermint was not defenseless. She had been trained in a variety of fighting styles. At 20, she had taken it upon herself to obtain her paperwork for being a heroic. This was in line with the very thing she was positioning herself to become, a shepherd. There were more than a handful stationed around Atlas Central, guiding different types of animals that required a fair amount of protection, as they could not defend themselves from the more aggressive creatures of the wild. One of the people that helped train Peppermint was Captain Bigwig of the Atlas Central Watch. He was a hare with a mop of brown hair atop his head. It was this rare feature that caused his parents to give him the name, as they were huge fans of the Arthur novel Watership Down. There was nothing Bigwig could do. The hare slammed his gauntlets into the boulder near the body time and again, but he had been too late. The girl stood her ground, protecting her flock from predators that now knew the horrors they wrought. Tears welled in the captain's eyes as more of Atlas Central Watch arrived at the grisly scene. It was then the doll, tied to the girl's waist by a tight piece of rope, began to glow. As the hare watched, a bright glimmer began to cover first the keepsake, then the body of the young fallen shepherd. Other members of the watch pointed to the sheep around the still frame, as they too became consumed by dim lavender flames. "What is happening, Captain?" one of the younger members of the watch asked Bigwig. All the captain could do was shake his head, his mop of fur blowing wildly in some unfelt wind. The girl he had once sought to protect began to merge with the very good luck charm he had given her as a child some time ago. The doll expanded in size, with its hard porcelain exterior cracking to cover shredded limbs. The head fell away as a strange mask floated onto the scene from some unknown location. It settled over a ghostly lavender wisp of a face as the hair of the doll intertwined with that of Peppermint. "Who gave that Kitsune mask to her when she graduated from school?" Bigwig said, just before lavender light blinked to life from behind the eyes of the mask. The figure of the doll snapped up quickly to look around before screaming in horror. It lasted for a few moments before the figure stopped to look at her arms, then her legs, and finally the still forms of the golden flock around her. "Bigwig?" came a strange voice that seemed to echo from some far-off place. "What happened to me? What happened to the flock?" Before the captain could answer, the lavender flames engulfed the two sheep that had survived the ordeal, causing them both to bleat out of fear. It was a blinding affair that caused Peppermint to grab her staff from the ground. The magical instrument had somehow survived whatever ordeal had transpired on the fringes of Atlas Central. The strange shepherd struck the ground with the tool that had helped her guide the flock for the past 3 years. "Calm!" she shouted, and the strange flames dispersed, leaving behind two figures that were clearly no longer sheep. "Captain Bigwig?" a junior member of the watch asks. "Are we in any danger?" Staring at the beings that had once been part of the flock of sheep, Bigwig had no answer. What his gut was telling him, they were not the dangerous figments of the night around them. Whatever the lavender flame had been, it had transformed the sheep into creatures that hovered about the ground, surrounded in fluff streaked with gold and lavender sparks. The heads of the beings were that of wolves, and quickly howled into the night as all watched. "They will not harm you," Peppermint shouted, as she whirled to face the assembled watch. "The veil has given us a purpose, to roam, to guide, to hunt." "Is it really you, Mint?" Bigwig asked, walking up to the odd dollish being. His instincts held no fear for whatever his gaze fell upon, but he did sense a change beyond the obvious notion that his former pupil was no longer among the living. "Aye," she responded, removing the kitsune mask to show the ghostly face behind it. Her hair, now pure silver in the moonlight, floated as if she were underwater. "I fear my mortal body is long removed from being able to be saved, Uncle. The veil rescued me, but has marked those that caused this ruin to be found." "So you're a reaper?" Bigwig felt tears well up. Reapers were rare, but all had a degree of vengeance within them as fuel. He did not like the feeling that his goddaughter was now an instrument of hate. Placing the mask back over her visage, Peppermint laughed. "Oh, Uncle, Did I say they had to die? I said found. I do not think the veil brought me back for revenge. I still have a joy in my heart, but I have been charged with finding those that did this, as the golden flock were given to Mourn to heal those that needed it most." Not missing the potential of hidden meanings, Bigwig pointed to the odd creatures that now floated lazily near Peppermint. "Then they are reapers, then?" "Bo and Peep?" Again, there was a ghostly laugh. "Oh no, I will not lie to you. They will be able to be vicious, but we have been instructed to find the villains, not kill them. If you like, we will simply deliver them to you." She spun her tattered garbs flowing about her, still with streaks of light pink laced within its edges. At the end of the twirl, she bowed before Bigwig and slowly looked up. And with that, I will see you all in the near future. And thank you for listening.